Hello everyone and welcome to today's One Card Wonder Wednesday Live, August 14th, 2019. I appreciate you joining me. We are going to make a very cute fall themed card using this Ride With Me stamp set. I don't know if you have seen this in the catalog. It is just a fun little set. It has some amazing dies with it. I believe it's called the Ride With Me bundle. I'm going to pull up my video here. I got to turn my volume down on here. You're going to hear me twice. We don't want that. But these truck dies are fantastic. This big die here, and I'll do a video with this later, but I'm not doing it right now. Hi Angie, how are you? You run this through your die cutting machine with a whatever cardstock you want, and it makes a little truck. Isn't that fantastic? So you can make little ornaments for your tree if you wanted. I think that would actually be a fun class. Maybe I'll make a class with that, truck ornaments. But anyway, so we're going to use the truck out of this today and the pumpkins and the Happy Harvest. And then to go along with that, I needed some trees for my background. So we're going to use these trees from the Winter Woods stamp set. And then I needed a little bit of sand or dirt. So we're just using one little image from the Waterfront set. See how fantastic it is when you can mix stamp sets together to create exactly what you want. Sometimes you can't get everything all in one stamp set. And this is the finished card. Isn't this cute with those trees for the background? And then you've got that waterfront stamp here on the bottom for that little patch of dirt that the truck is on, because I kind of thought it looked like he was just floating without something underneath of him. And then the inside, we just have our Whisper White cardstock and some more pumpkins. And so I'm just going to set this card to the side. I think you can see it right there. And we will get started stamping. First, we're going to stamp our truck because we want to stamp that in Memento ink because we are going to color it with the stamping blends. And you want to make sure it's good and dry before you color. Angie, I know you commented, you sent me a message the other day, and I saw it on my phone, and now I can't find it on Facebook, so I know you had said you wanted to make something, and I don't remember if it was the countdown calendar class or if it was the coffin treat box class, but just send me the message again. You can just private message me and text me, whatever you want to do. So you need one truck and you need two of the pumpkins. And then we need to let those dry a little bit. I'm just going to set these stamps over here out of the way so I don't stick my arm and get a truck mementoed onto my arm. I have a wedding to go to this weekend. That might look really kind of funny if I had a truck stamped on my arm. I guess I could say it was a tattoo. I don't know if that would actually work or not, but okay, so we're going to let that dry. And then we have another piece of Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to stamp our background on that. We'll get that done right away. Make sure I chose yes, I did choose the right one. Hi Fran, hi Brenda, how are you? Let that dry. We're going to use crumb cake for the background, and we're just going to ink those trees up really good. Let me bring my trees over here. Aren't these fantastic? Love those trees. Just ink them really good with your crumb cake, and like with a larger stamp like this, I like to turn the ink pad over and the stamp this way as well, just so it's easier to. And I'm only going to need a couple of those on the right, so I'm not going to stamp this whole part just for this section. We're just adding a couple extra to create our forest background. And since I didn't get quite to the edge on this side, actually we'll stamp that. We'll just add a little bit right on the edge there, just so it looks like the forest goes all the way across in the back. We'll need the crumb cake out still because we're going to do our little sand spot with that piece from Waterfront. I don't know how I, came up with this. It was just like, well, what am I going to use for the sand? And I'm like, okay, well, we've got so many stamp sets. There's got to be something. And I was like, oh yeah, Waterfront. Perfect. And that's all we need the crumb cake for. We're done with the crumb cake now. So we are done with the memento and the crumb cake. We've got our background stamped. I'm going to show you how I colored in this truck. Super easy. I used Night of Navy Dark and Light, basic black, some smoky slate, a little pool party. So for the pool party, the first two things I did with that were I just did the little hubcaps because I just wanted to give them a little bit different color. And then on the window, I don't know if you can see it in the card, but I did just a couple of little swipes across that just to make it look like that's glass, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but just so you get that across, and then you're pretty much done with that color. Next, we'll take our basic black and we're gonna color in those tires. Super easy, just going around in the circle there. And then of course, when you get closer, don't quite get up to the edge of that or it'll bleed into your pool party, but get it as close as you can. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We all know this. This is a handmade card. Sometimes the imperfections make them even better. I mean, obviously nothing too crazy scary, but it's like somebody made this card for me. That's all people want. People just want a handmade card. Why not? It's fun. It's fun to get a handmade card. And then I did the handle, the door handle in black as well. I don't know why I felt like I needed the door handle to be black, but I did. And then I took the Night of Navy, the dark, and I took the writing tip, and I just outlined the entire truck. Every line that's on this truck, I pretty much went over it with this Night of Navy dark. The only lines I didn't do were the bumper and that front headlight, just because they don't need the Night of Navy on them. I love how this truck just takes me back. And even you'll see little trucks like this driving around now too that have been restored, but it just reminds me of when I was a kid and I would see certain people with this style of truck driving around town. I just always thought they were really neat. And then take the brush tip from your Night of Navy. If you can get it off, mine's really tight. And then I just did one quick swipe on the side and there. That's it. The rest is going to be colored in, other than right here underneath this bumper. Let's color that in with the dark Night of Navy because it is darker under there because there's a shadow. So we'll color that in with the dark. And then I just took the brush tip and colored the rest of the truck in real quick and easy. I wasn't too concerned about blending it too much with what I drew on those lines, but I did go over this part just a little bit so that blends in. And it's okay if you go out of the lines a little bit because you're just going to cut this truck out anyway on this card. Now, if this was the actual piece that you were coloring it onto just to, add it to your car, then you'd be a little more careful with how you colored it, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I just went over a couple of spots a little more because it will make it a little bit darker when you go over different spots with this versus if like on the bottom there I just went once. It's going to make it just a little bit darker. Then I used this smoky slate brush tip and colored the bumper in. Oh, and I thought I was done with pool party. I forgot I did a little bit right on that light just to give that light a little bit of color in the front. You can barely see it, probably from your camera angle, but it's there. There's a little headlight. And for the pumpkins, I used Pumpkin Pie Dark, and I just did the same thing with the tracing. I just traced around each pumpkin and then traced each line. These blends, I'm telling you, make coloring so quick and easy that I feel like I could do 10 of these cards and not feel like I've spent half the day doing it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you kind of go next to the line a little bit versus all the way in the line on these, no big deal, because you're going to go over them with the Pumpkin Pie Light to color them in. And for this, I really just did, I just went back and forth across it. I didn't blend it. I just left it so I could keep those dark lines showing a little bit on there. And then I used the Old Olive Dark, and I just used the brush tip because it's just coloring in these leaves. I didn't even worry about the stems really because you're not going to see that because the stems on the pumpkins are already fully stamped in black from the Memento because that's just the design. And then there is a die to cut the pumpkins out. I ran that through the die machine. There is not a die to cut this out, so I had to cut this by hand. but I already have those cut out, so you don't have to watch me cut. So I already have 2 of the pumpkins and 1 of the truck. Isn't he adorable? I think he's so cute. Now I flipped the truck over. Well, first I kind of set this on there to see kind of where I wanted it, and then I held on to it right here at the back of the cab of the truck and flipped it over and just laid it there and left it until I grabbed my dimensionals. And then I actually just kind of went over the pumpkins a little bit and over the truck a little bit, like half and half with the dimensional. So basically that's holding your pumpkins in place. You don't have to glue them down or use some other adhesive snail or anything on them to hold them in place. If you're dimensionaling it up, it will just, those dimensionals will do the job for you. So the next part would be just to start layering. And you don't want to put your truck on yet, but I figured, you know, we might as well have him put together and ready to go. So just start with your snail adhesive. You can see I got some ink on the back of this Whisper White piece of paper before, but I thought, you know what? I can still use the other side. No point in wasting that. Just flip it over and stamp your image on the other side. So we've got Whisper White, Soft Suede, and Pool Party are the layers that are going to go on this card. And the card is Night of Navy. I already have my base cut and ready. We'll bring it over in just a second. We'll get that folded and ready to go. Let's get this it's sticking to my finger and I keep moving the paper over as I'm moving. There we go, got it. So do any of you have this set? Have you used it yet? I think, like Fran said, she was talking about maybe doing a Christmas card with this set. I think it would be a fantastic Christmas card with this set. So we're gonna use a piece of linen thread, and I didn't measure this. This is really what is left on the end of my, actually it used to come on this wooden piece, but now it comes on a spool. I'm so glad it's on a spool because now I can get rid of this big piece. And I've got just this little spool for my new linen thread. And we are just gonna tie a bow, kind of off on the right-hand side a little bit. Hi Lisa, how are you? This is not exactly where I want it, but I'm gonna tie a knot here to start with, and then I'll move I can slide it up a little bit because it's not super tight, so you can slide it up a little bit if you want to, just to put it in a different place. All right, just tie a bow. Again, sometimes bows with linen thread and baker's twine are not always the easiest to tie. I do find the linen thread works better for me than baker's twine. I don't get quite as many kinks and curls in it. I'm just gonna try to pull this to make that loop a little bit smaller. And right after I said that, I ended up with a kink and a curl in it, and so it doesn't wanna lay flat, but that's okay. We're just gonna cut those little ends off because we don't want it hanging over too much. And I have a piece of Pool Party scrap piece over here. And on the Pool Party scrap piece, we are just going to stamp this Happy Harvest in Night of Navy. I don't know why Happy Harvest makes me happy, but I love whenever I see a stamp set that has that sentiment in it, I always want to buy it. Fall is my favorite time of the year. Fall, autumn, whatever you call it, either works for me. I just love that time of the year. So now the classic label punch, we are just gonna punch that out, center it on there. Definitely easier if you stamp it first before you punch it. Once you have it punched, you're gonna add some mini dimensionals to the back of that. We are almost ready to have this card completely put together. It would have taken a few more minutes if I would have did the fussy cutting for the truck and the die cutting for the pumpkins, but not too much longer. It's really quite a quick card to put together. So we're just gonna get it folded in half. We will go ahead and use the bone folder on it. I have so many pieces laying here. I should have folded this first, but you know, I got so excited about stamping the truck and getting it colored in that I didn't do this step first. Once you have a nice good crease on it, go ahead and flip this over, and I actually put dimensionals on the back of this as well because I wanted it dimensionaled up. And now if you put one dimensional right over the top of that twine, that will help keep that twine where you want it. So that's just a little helpful hint for the day. Use your dimensionals strategically when you have ribbon or ribbon or wine. If you have wine, that's great too, but I don't think your dimensional will have anything to do with that. Ribbon or twine around your card. Maybe I should have some wine. I think I might need some at this point. All right, here we go. Got that on there. Take our adhesive backings off from these dimensionals that are on the back of the truck. I don't know about any of you, but I think this truck is just fantastic. I love it. Like I said, I have a wedding to go to this weekend, so I wanted to make sure I did. I don't know why, but I know it's only August, but I feel like it's autumn. School started down here in the South, and it just, once that happens, it's like it's fall. Even if it's really not, it feels like it is. Go ahead and add your Happy Harvest. Hi Ingrid, how are you? Add your Happy Harvest on here. How cute is that? And then just get a piece of Whisper White cardstock to put on the inside. Go ahead and just add some snail adhesive to it. If you are on my catalog mailing list, have you received your catalog already? I mailed them on Friday. I know I had some people receive them on Monday already. And it's Tuesday, so I'm thinking by now everyone should have them. Let's hope. Thank you, Brenda. I really love this card too. It's really adorable and super easy to do. Just add a little bit of snail to those extra pumpkins that you stamped. Put them in the bottom right-hand corner of your card. And the reason I say bottom right-hand corner is because they're kind of cut off on that side, so they kind of fit real nice. I had adhesive there. I needed to move it or remove it. So that is today's One Card Wonder Wednesday. Super easy, super fun to make. This stamp set is amazing. If you don't have it, you need to buy it. And for anyone watching, if you liked this video and you want any of these products, just go to valeriesmith.stampinup.net. You can always go to my blog at stampinwithvalerie.com. I'm going to be posting this video, a list of all of the supplies and the measurements, so you'll have all the measurements for everything that you need. And there will be links to all the products. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening and have a great weekend. I will be gone through next Tuesday, but I will be back for One Card Wonder Wednesday next week on the 21st. Thank you. Bye.